I don't need movies. They disappoint me. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with the final installment of Lord of the Rings book versus movie, The Return of the King, hence the crown. Most of the problems that I have with this movie as an adaptation of the book are rooted in the previous installments of the trilogy. The arc created for Aragorn, the characterization of Frodo. I think the movie made some changes that were in fact very, very good. In the book, when Éowyn goes to war with the Rohirrim, she's actually disguised as a man, and you don't know in the story until she pulls her helmet off that it is in fact Éowyn who's facing off with the Witch King. The movie presents Merry as knowing from the beginning that it is in fact Éowyn, which makes sense because Miranda Otto is a very beautiful, very feminine woman, and she doesn't make a super convincing guy. In the book, Éomer doesn't know till after the battle is all over that his sister is dying on the battlefield. Honestly, the moment when Karl Urban sees his sister and runs to her screaming no across the battlefield was genuinely heart-wrenching. Absolutely fantastic performance. So so overall different changes. I'm yeah, I'm totally okay with that. Since this is a book versus movie, let's talk about the things that I think would have made more sense for the story. Denethor is the first of these. The steward of Gondor, the father of Boromir and Faramir, is presented as just kind of oblivious to the threat. He's kind of ignoring it. In the book, Gandalf and Pippin show up at Gondor and they see these wains taking the women and children away from the city, and everybody is gearing up for this war. And Denethor doesn't really have much hope. And what hope he does have, he soon loses, leading to his suicide. The movie, there are women and children in the city, and it's presented as, he's too proud to call for aid. And it's bruh, you're facing a world-ending evil. Pride should not be a factor here. So, the books place the dramatic tension in different places than the movie chooses to. In the book, Gondor calls for aid, and Rohan's immediate response is, of course we're coming, but also we just fought this huge battle in our lands, and we need time to pull our men together and to get everybody, geared up for war. And in the meantime, they don't really have much time. They have to get to Gondor before the siege closes, and they're unable to break through to the city. In the movie, the dramatic tension falls on, is Theoden going to answer the call for aid? And it's again, world-ending evil. We kind of all need to stand together. So just overall, I feel the books, they've just got a more realistic feel to them. The problems that people face are problems of logistics, and the pride and the politics at war are very subtle. Denethor and Faramir's conflict is very explicitly that Faramir does what he thinks is right, and that he listens to Gandalf, which Denethor absolutely hates. They kept that in the movie overall. One thing that they cut that I liked as a source of tension is that Faramir and Boromir had this dream that was the reason that Boromir went to Rivendell, and Faramir wanted to be the one to go to Rivendell, and his brother and father overruled him. So when he tells Denethor, you wish that I had gone and he had died in my place, and Denethor's yeah, I wish that. In the book, Faramir's response is more do you remember how I tried to go, and if I had gone, you would still have my brother here? And Denethor gets very upset with him for bringing that up. I think the movie overall did handle it well. I kind of would have liked that element. Peter Jackson tends to create drama for the sake of his narrative, for the sake of the movies, that the books don't have because the books simply don't need it. And I think the most egregious case of him creating drama for the movies comes with Frodo, Sam, and Gollum. And frankly, I hated this. And I think even just watching the movies as themselves, it comes across as just kind of cheap drama. There's this moment where Gollum has been poisoning Frodo for all these miles and telling Frodo, Sam wants the ring, and he plants evidence to make it look like Sam's been eating all the food, and Frodo's this is it, we're done, you're gonna have to go home, and I'm gonna make my own way home, which first of all, Go home? Bruh, you're on the border of Mordor. You're kind of a really long way from home. Sam is going to die before he gets back to the Shire. Let's be real. But then secondly, it's just dumb and unnecessary. And it's created just so Sam can have this grand heroic moment when he comes running in to save Frodo from Shelob. And I don't love it. In the book, Frodo and Sam stay together, and they're both very wary of Gollum. Sam more than Frodo, but they're not violent toward him, and there's no conflict between Frodo and Sam themselves. Frodo sees the light at the end of the tunnel and he takes off running, and Gollum attacks Sam from behind. So in the movie, Frodo escapes Shelob, gets attacked by Gollum, and when he gets away from Gollum, then Shelob gets him. In the book, Sam finishes fighting with Gollum and goes running after Frodo, only to find that Shelob has already gotten him. So, the implication is if Gollum had not slowed him down, maybe he could have helped Frodo. And the rest of it plays out pretty much the same. He takes the ring and Frodo gets picked up by orcs who say, oh, he's not actually dead. Shelob just paralyzed him. I would have liked it better if it had been truer to the book and if they hadn't had that completely stupid conflict between them. It was just really unnecessary. I think the other thing, and this is one of the things that goes back to how Frodo has been characterized throughout the movies, is that Elijah Wood's Frodo. Elijah Wood is a fantastic actor. Do not get me wrong. I think very highly of his acting abilities. Frodo Baggins in Peter Jackson's movies comes across as kind of a damsel in distress and overall just sort of he's a very pitiful character. In the books, he's a very noble character, and he's very strong-willed, and even when he is breaking down under the burden of the ring, he is still filled with this, otherworldly beauty and this otherworldly strength that leaves people in awe of them. And when Gollum attacks him and Sam on the slopes of Mount Doom, Frodo throws him off, and in the book, he says something to the effect of, do not touch me. If you ever touch me again, you will be cast into the mountain of fire yourself. And then in the book, when Gollum does in fact attack him and bites the ring off, he slips. He simply falls into Mount Doom. And it's kind of implied that it's a result of the words that Frodo spoke to him. Frodo told him, if you touch me again, you're going to be cast into the mountain of fire. And that is exactly what happens. The movie, since it cut the whole thing with Frodo cursing Gollum, has that great little moment where Frodo falls over the edge and Sam has to drag him back up. And you're just kind of y'all are both so weak and so tired. You've both been literally collapsing for the last 2 hours, and suddenly you have the strength to haul him back up. You can chalk it up to adrenaline. That's fine. I won't really quibble with you. Other changes they included was Saruman's fate. In the extended cut, you see Grima murder Saruman at Orthanc, at Isengard, and Legolas subsequently kills Grima. I think that's a good condensation of his character. In the book, the hobbits go home to the Shire and find that Saruman has completely ruined their beautiful homeland. As before, Grima winds up murdering Saruman, and the hobbits, not our 4 hobbits, just several others from the Shire, wind up killing Grima. The whole scouring of the Shire was completely cut, which makes sense. It's a bit of a long arc and doesn't necessarily fit the movie's narrative overall, but it is an interesting read, and it was rather fun to see Merry and Pippin and Sam particularly standing up as leaders in their own community and employing the skills and tactics that they have learned abroad. Makes sense that they cut it, but totally worth reading. As always, I think the casting is just beautiful. I think that Viggo Mortensen plays a very good Aragorn. Overall, I think the movies are very good. I think this is a book series that would probably do best as a TV series where you can really delve into the characterization and you can really delve into the world building. I think the movies are absolutely enjoyable, but you should enjoy them separately from the book. And as always, I'm going to say that the book is better, so sue me. Next time, we're going to tackle To Kill a Mockingbird, book versus movie. If y'all have any other suggestions, let me know in the comments. I am taking plenty of suggestions. Please. Alex is trying to make me do Twilight. Please suggest something else. Anything else would be great. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.